Master Guide, SAPSD, Transport Management and Landscape Architecture. 1. Introduction, the consultant's responsibility. As an SD consultant, your job is not just to configure the system, but to ensure that configuration reaches the production environment safely, in the correct sequence, and without disrupting live business processes. Understanding the transport mechanism is what separates a junior consultant from a solution architect. Clarification of terminology. Logistics Transportation, LETRA. The module for shipping and freight, shipment documents. Transport request, trail. The technical container, basis object, used to move configuration and code between SAP systems. This guide focuses on the trail. 2. The SAP landscape architecture. To manage changes effectively, you must understand where you are working. The 3-tier landscape. 1. DEV. Development system. Golden client example. 100. Pure configuration. No test data. No transaction postings. This is where you create TRs. Unit test client example. 110. Where you test your config immediately after saving. Data here is dummy data. Sandbox example. 120. A playground. Changes here usually do not generate TRs and are wiped periodically. 2. QAS, quality assurance or test. A copy of production data, refreshed periodically. Used for integration testing, UAT, and regression testing. Strict rule. No direct configuration is allowed here. Changes come only via transport from DEV. 3. PROD, production. The live system. Locked for all configuration. Client-specific versus cross-client. This distinction is vital for SD consultants. Client-specific. MANDT dependent. Data exists only in the client you are logged into. Examples. Sales document types. VOV8. Pricing procedures. Customer master data. Action. Requires a customizing request. Cross-client, client-independent. Data exists for all clients in that system instance. If you change it in client 100, it changes in client 110, 200, etc. Examples: ABAP code. SAP access sequences, sometimes. Condition tables, system dependent. Calendar settings. Action, requires a workbench request. 3. Anatomy of a transport request, trail. A transport request, example. DEVK901234 is a box containing links to the database table entries you changed. The hierarchy. 1. Request header, the main container, owned by the project lead or lead consultant. 2. Tasks, subcontainers assigned to specific users. Rule: you cannot release a request until all tasks inside it are released. Types of requests. A. Customizing request, most common for SD. Transaction, SE01 or SE09 or SE10. Content, configuration table entries, T000 tables, etc. Behavior, only impacts the target client, example. Moves from Dev100 to QAS400. SD examples. Defining a new item category, VOV7. Assigning a schedule line category, VOV5. Setting up copy controls, VTAA. VTLA. B. Workbench request. Content, repository objects and cross-client data. Behavior, impacts the entire target system, all clients. Use with extreme caution. SD examples. Creating a new condition table, V or O3. Writing a VOFM routine, pricing requirement formula. Creating a Z report or user exit. C. Transport of copies, TOC. Purpose: moving changes to QAS for testing without releasing the original trail. Why use it? If you are working on a large project, example, new pricing design, you don't want to release the main TR until the very end, but you need to test in QA. You create a TOC, include the objects from your main TR, and move the TOC. Note: TOCs generally do not go to production. 4. End-to-end movement process. The life cycle. This section details the movement from dev to prod. Phase 1. Creation and locking. Dev. 1. You open SPRO. IMG. 2. You make a change, example. Change description of sales order, type OR. 3. You click Save. 4. Prompt. SAP. Asks for a transport request. 5. New request. Create a new one. Naming convention. Module ticket description. Example. SDINC 1055. Update pricing procedures USA. 6. Locking. Once saved, those specific table entries are locked in this trail. No other consultant can change that specific sales order type until you release your TR or merge theirs. Phase 2. Release. Dev. 1. Go to SE10, Transport Organizer. 2. Expand modifiable. 3. Step A. Release the task. Select the task number below the request. Click the truck icon, Release. Check. Ensure no error messages appear. 4. Step B. Release the request. Select the request number. Click the truck icon. 5. Result. The system exports the data to a data file at the operating system level, or USR, or SAP, or trans or data, and adds the file to the import queue of the target system, QAS. Visual indicator. The checkmark in SE10 turns from modifiable to released. Phase 3. Import, QAS. Usually done by the basis team, but you must know the flow. 1. Transaction, STMS. Transport Management System. 2. Open the QAS import queue. 3. Locate DEVK 901234. 4. Import. The system reads the data file and overwrites the database entries in QAS with the values from dev. RC0 Success. RC4 Warning, usually harmless, example. Object generated. RC8 Error, import failed. Dependent object missing. Stop and investigate. RC12 Critical system error. Connection lost. Disk full. Phase 4. Import PROD. Once UAT is signed off in QAS, the TR is moved to the PROD import queue and imported during a scheduled maintenance window. 5. Handling reversals and backouts. Crucial concept. In SAP, there is no undo button for a transport. You cannot delete a transport from production to revert changes. Scenario. You moved a broken config to production. How to fix. The counter transport method. 1. Do not try to delete the request in PROD. It's too late, the database is already updated. 2. Go back to dev. 3. Manually change the configuration back to its original state. Example. If you changed a price from $10 to $20, change it back to $10. 4. Save this change into a new transport request. Naming. SDINC 1055, reversal or rollback. 5. Release the new TR from dev. 6. Import the new TR into QA and prod. 7. This overwrites the error with the correct, original, data. 6. Detailed scenarios and configuration nuances. A. Number ranges. The do not transport rule. Objects. Sales orders. VN01. Billing docs. VN19. Deliveries. The issue. Number ranges use current status counters. If you transport number ranges from dev to PROD, you might overwrite the PROD counter, example. 5,000. With the dev counter, example. 100. Causing duplicate key errors. Best practice. Create the group or interval in dev. For testing, do not include in a transport. Manually create the number ranges in QAS and PROD directly. Transaction VN01 is usually open in PROD for this reason. The exception, if you must transport, example. Mass new setup. Use the specialized button in the number range screen transport, which creates a workbench request containing object NRIV. Be extremely careful to transport only the definitions, not the status values. B. VOFM routines, formulas, and requirements. Context: you wrote a new pricing requirement, routine 901, in VOFM. The problem? You transport it to QAS, but the system dumps or the routine doesn't trigger. The fix: VOFM routines are ABAP code. They must be activated, generated, in the target system. Sometimes the automatic generation fails. Solution: run report RV80HGEN in the target system, QAS or PROD, via SE38 immediately after the transport is imported. This regenerates all pricing or output or transfer control routines. C. Condition tables, pricing or output. Context: creating a table for price list or material group, V or O3 or V or O4. Nuance: condition tables are cross-client workbench objects. When you create table 901 in Dev, it is a repository object. However, the access sequence that uses it is usually customizing. Risk: if you delete a condition table in Dev, ensure it is not being used by a pricing procedure in PROD, or you will cause a dump, table not found, when the deletion moves to PROD. D-table maintenance SM30 versus configuration. Sometimes you need to maintain Z-tables or specific standard tables. 1. Config tables, customizing, changes made in SM30 prompt for a transport request, handled via standard process described above. 2. Current settings, SOBJ, or master data tables. Some tables are designed to be maintained in prod directly. Example: currency exchange rates OB08, route determination in some setups. How to check: in transaction SOBJ, check the current settings flag for the object. If checked, you can maintain it in PROD without a TR. Z-tables. If you want a Z-table to be maintainable in prod without a TR, go to SE11, delivery class equals A application table. In table maintenance generator, SE55, set recording routine to no or use a recording routine. This prevents the TR prompt. 7. Troubleshooting transport errors. When a transport fails, red light. Follow this protocol. Step 1. Check the logs. 1. Go to SE01 or STMS. 2. Find the request. 3. Click logs. 4. Expand the tree to find the red error line. Step 2. Analyze common SD errors. Error 1. Object X is missing, RC8. Scenario: you transported a pricing procedure that uses a new condition type, ZPR1, but ZPR1 was in a different transport that hasn't been moved yet. Cause: dependency failure. Fix: 1. Identify the missing object. 2. Find the TR containing that object. 3. Move the missing object's TR first. 4. Re-import the failed trail. Error 2. Table entry X already exists, unique key violation. Scenario: you are inserting a record that already exists in the target system, but with different properties, and the system can't reconcile it. Fix: usually requires cleaning up the data in the target system or forcing an overwrite, ignore predecessor. Error 3. Generation error. Scenario: after importing a modified structure. Example: appending a field to VBAP. The import fails or takes too long. Cause: the system is trying to activate the table and adjust the database. If the table has millions of records, like VBAP in prod, this can time out. Fix: these changes often require basis intervention to adjust tables at the DB level during downtime. 8. Best practices for the expert consultant. 1. Sequence is king. Always transport in the order of creation. Order: data elements or domains. Tables: basic config, condition types. Dependent config, pricing proc. Application: user exits. 2. Don't piggyback. Do not mix unrelated changes in one trail. If you are fixing a pricing bug and creating a new sales order type, use 2 separate requests. If the pricing fix fails, you don't want it to block the new sales order type from going live. 3. Use merge wisely. If you have 10 small TRs for one project, you can merge them in SE01, Utilities, Merge Requests, into one golden transport before moving to QA. This reduces the risk of sequencing errors. 4. Documentation. Always paste the TR number into your functional spec or ticket system, Jira or ServiceNow. 5. Check Target Client Settings, SCC4. If you cannot import or change data, check SCC4. Dev should allow automatic recording of changes. PROD should be no changes allowed. 9. Advanced validation and testing on the transport. Before you tell the business it's fixed, validate the transport itself. 1. SE01 Contents check. Double-click the request, then the task. Look at the object list. Do you see VVT 683? That implies pricing procedure. Do you see R3TR Taboo T685A? Condition types. Tip: if the list is empty, you didn't save the config. 2. Cross-reference. If you created a new Z report, ensure the include files and text elements are also in the trail. A common rookie mistake is transporting the source code but forgetting the text elements. Column headers. Summary checklist for a production move. 1. Configuration saved in dev. 2. Unit test passed in dev 110. 3. Task released. 4. Request released. 5. Dependencies checked. Are all prerequisites already in QA? 6. Imported to QA. 7. RV80 HGEN run in QA if formulas used. 8. UAT signed off. 9. Approval attached to change ticket. 10. Move to PROD. 11. RV80HGEN run in PROD if formulas used. 12. Smoke test in PROD. Check if transaction opens without dumping.